Future Retail Limited, which manages some of India's most well-known retail brands, has informed the Supreme Court that it is barely hanging on by a thread. Future informed the court that Amazon has destroyed them. Amazon triggered Future Retail Limited's downfall when it could not purchase its assets on the cheap, putting them on the verge of bankruptcy. The Supreme Court was considering Amazon's move for an injunction to stop Future Retail from alienating its retail assets until the arbitration procedures at the Singapore International Arbitration Center concluded. Amazon is literally destroying retail, and it's not just in India. U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin stated that Amazon destroyed the retail industry across the United States, and that an investigation into the company is needed. Mnuchin stated that while Amazon's growth has certain benefits, the firm has really hurt small businesses in the process. The Justice Department announced that it will conduct an investigation into whether major web platforms have reduced competition, stifled innovation, or otherwise harmed consumers. While Amazon was not named, it is assumed that the DOJ will investigate it along with other tech powerhouses such as Facebook and Google, which all massively dominate their respective areas. Amazon replied to Mnuchin's comments by stating that its platform helps small companies and that physical stores continue to dominate retail sales. Amazon is thriving for small and medium-sized businesses, a spokesperson stated. They said that Amazon accounts for less than 4% of U.S. retail and that 90% of retail transactions continue to take place in brick and mortar stores, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Mnuchin's sentiments about Amazon won't affect the study because the Treasury Department isn't involved, but his statements reflect how swiftly public opinion has shifted on tech companies' dominance. Most Americans feel Amazon's enormous influence is harmful and must be restrained. According to a new study, almost 80% of voters believe Amazon should be subject to additional regulation, and more than half advocate splitting it apart. An increased number of lawmakers are attempting to do exactly that. The House Judiciary Committee concluded a 15-month investigation that Amazon has monopoly power over many small and medium-sized businesses. It's called for the corporation to be broken up by dividing its key business divisions into separate companies and regulating its online marketplace to guarantee that sellers are treated fairly. Both Democrats and Republicans have expressed support for these proposals. Amazon has attempted to depict itself as good to independent small businesses, as politicians have become more serious about tackling Amazon's problems. Amazon claims that it has a mutually beneficial relationship with the small businesses that rely on its platform, that these businesses are thriving, and that our interests are well aligned via splashy advertisements, news releases, and capital lobbying. On the other hand, small business owners tell a totally different story. In a 2019 poll, 3/4 of independent merchants viewed Amazon's dominance as a serious danger to their existence, with only 11% describing their experience as successful. Small consumer goods manufacturers, book publishers, and creators are also threatened. All of these tiny firms are caught in Amazon's monopolistic trap. The tech behemoth controls access to the online market, leaving them with little alternative than to sell on its platform. Nonetheless, doing so allows Amazon, a rival, to abuse and weaken them. The number of independent businesses has decreased as Amazon has increased. The number of small stores decreased by 65,000 between 2007 and 2017. Around 40% of the nation's small apparel, toy, and sporting goods manufacturers went out of business, as did 1/3 of the country's small book publishers. Most online customers start their search on Amazon, which accounts for over half of all online spending in the United States. Because of its dominance, Amazon may act as a gatekeeper. Shops and brands must sell on Amazon in order to reach a large portion of the online market. This reliance is perilous, and many businesses are terrified. Amazon's sales might vanish quickly if their search engines or selling terms change. Amazon also makes it difficult for sellers to minimize their reliance on its platform, partly by making their brand identification invisible to customers and preventing them from developing connections with them. Amazon expressly prohibits sellers from contacting customers. It established a new policy in April 2021 that prevents most sellers from even seeing the names and addresses of those who buy their items. While Amazon refers to its sellers as partners in public, it refers to them on the inside as internal competitors. The House investigation and Wall Street Journal reporting both concluded that Amazon spied on sellers and stole data about their sales, costs, and suppliers. It has then used this information to produce competing copies of its items, frequently giving its versions preferential placement in search results. Amazon has also been detected investing in businesses using its venture capital fund to steal their ideas and build competing products and services. Amazon's decision to launch a competing product devastated the businesses in which it invested in certain situations. Amazon has made a seller's ability to generate sales on its site primarily dependent on acquiring its Fulfillment by Amazon, or FBA warehousing and shipping services. Amazon prefers sellers that use FBA in two ways. They may add the Prime logo to their items, and they are far more likely to be picked as the default seller of a product by the site's algorithm, known as winning the buy box. Both are essential for increasing sales. Amazon has established a big logistics company on the backs of independent businesses that would, in many circumstances, prefer to use another carrier. I'd recommend Amazon if they were really cheap, but they aren't, according to Matthew White, a logistics expert for e-commerce enterprises. FBA would not be appealing if it weren't for the algorithm. Amazon takes an average of 30% of each sale made by independent businesses on its platform through seller fees, up from 19% in 2014. Amazon has taken more from sellers by making it more difficult for them to generate sales unless they purchase additional Amazon services, such as shipping and advertising. Amazon's earnings from seller fees increased to $60 billion in 2019 and have expanded to the point where sellers are effectively cross-subsidizing Amazon's retail division. These exorbitant costs make running a profitable business practically difficult. The vast majority of those who start selling on Amazon's site fail within a few years because of the increasing expense of these monopolistic fees. Under congressional inquiry, Amazon removed language in its contracts in 2019 that prohibited third-party vendors from selling their items for cheaper on other retail platforms. However, Amazon continues to enforce this guideline indirectly through its fair pricing policy. If Amazon's pricing algorithms find that a seller is providing a lower price elsewhere, Amazon suppresses the seller's sales by demoting the item in search results, making buyers less likely to see it or disqualifying the seller from winning the buy box. These activities inevitably result in a drop in sales. As a result, even if selling on other sites is less expensive, merchants cannot decrease their pricing below Amazon's on any platform. This protects Amazon from the competition and maintains its supremacy. Despite the fact that many small companies rely on Amazon to reach customers, Amazon often suspends sellers' accounts and seizes their inventory and cash balances. These measures often are sudden and arbitrary and may be disastrous, costing merchants millions of dollars in lost products and receivables. Sellers have few options. Amazon may take weeks or months to react to complaints about incorrect or improper suspensions. Sellers who want to recoup their losses or have their accounts reactivated must go via arbitration. Amazon's typical contract prohibits them from taking legal action. According to the inquiry conducted by the House Judiciary Committee, the arbitration process is unfair and unlikely to result in a meaningful remedy. According to the evidence gathered throughout the inquiry, Amazon's poor treatment of its sellers is far from an isolated incident. Amazon has continuously used predatory pricing, or selling items and services at a loss, in order to eliminate competitors and increase its market dominance. In the first 6 years, Amazon lost billions of dollars by selling books below cost, a practice that drove many booksellers out of business. Amazon has also used predatory pricing to drive out e-commerce competitors. It reportedly lost $150 million by selling shoes at a loss in order to get Zappos to agree to a merger. Similarly, it spent hundreds of millions of dollars in losses by selling diapers at below-cost prices in order to destabilize Diapers.com and compel it to merge. Amazon has also suffered strategic losses in order to keep users tied to Prime and, therefore, to its shipping platform. For example, it has lost up to $700 million a year on Prime Video. Amazon's predatory pricing strategies was first financed by an unspoken agreement with investors who accepted little or no return in exchange for quick market share growth. It has lately been able to cross-subsidize losses by utilizing the large revenues of its cloud segment, Amazon Web Services. AWS accounts for over 50% of Amazon's operational profits. As Amazon pushes competing retailers out of the market, small manufacturers have fewer ways to promote and sell their products. This provides Amazon considerably greater leverage in negotiating price cuts and special agreements with them. Those who do not comply may face severe repercussions. What do you think of Amazon's tactics? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell if you're new to the channel so that you get notified when we upload more content.